I just want, as soon as people come in and then turn it off, they don't come back.
Okay.
Oh, have you started?
Yep.
I misunderstood.
ただいまの決まり手はすくい投げ。すくい投げで鶴林の勝ち。東方富士星雲、熊本市西区出身藤島部屋。西方琴優勝、奈良県橿原市出身佐渡ヶ嶽部屋。ただいまの決まり手は寄り切り。
はっきよいはっきよい大相撲、はっきよいはっきよい大相撲。
Hello. How is everyone? How are you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm ready for some Juryo. Starting a little early today, we still have about 3 bouts, or 4 bouts. 3 or 4 bouts
Oh, 3.
left to go in Makushita. And on the right of your screen, you can see a very, very old friend.
It's a Kiseyama.
It's a Kiseyama.
Yeah, we looked at the Torakumi and we were just like, well, we know all these guys. You know, there's some people down on their luck. There's some people on the way back. And why not talk about them? There've been quite a few friendly faces so far. We've had Chiono O. He won today. Shishi. Shishi is someone that is up and coming. He won. Hakuyozan. Wow, he is down at Makushita 12. Poor old Hakuyozan with his injury. But he won today.
And, well, Akiseyama today is up against Chio Arashi, 30-year-old Rikishi, who had a brief stint at Juryo back in May, but it didn't really suit him.
Quite brief.
He went 4-11 at Juryo 13 and is back in the familiar territory of Makushita. Makushita 5 now.
Kiseyama, wow, he's been down for a long time. He fell out of Makuuchi in May 2021, so it actually hasn't been as long. It just feels like too long in sumo without the big man.
May 2021.
Did I say 2022? It was
No.
2021. Yeah.
But that's a long time ago.
Yeah. Yep. That was when he his jaw was broken.
Yeah.
He had to leave halfway through. He had lost 5 before that. It wasn't going great. But, the slide after that, he had to take a few Basho totally out. But coming back, he's gone all right. He's got all Kachikoshi so far. 5-2, 6-1, 4-3 and 4-3. So he's on the rise.
Oh, they are good signs. I think, you'd expect today that Akisiyama would run all over Chiyo Arashi. Great to see that he's finding some form. And we spoke about it at the time, that breaking a jaw would be one of those confidence injuries where you just couldn't be throwing your head in so hard at the tachiai.
I can't imagine breaking a jaw. I've never really... I think we've spoken a bit about our breaks on the podcast before. I've only broken a rib. I've never even broken. And toes. They don't really count.
Toes?
Neither of them really count
No.
as
That's bad.
a long time break. But the jaw far out, that would be hard.
Yeah. So, of course, we're at the Nagoya Prefectural Gymnasium for this Basho as they go. And it looks like Akisiyama's getting on the belt here. Oh, lots of retreat there from Chiyo Arashi. And turns out there was enough doyo for him.
Oh, they're getting up, the boys, including ex-Kishinasado Nishonozeki Oyakata, who floated into the stadium whenever we see him come in as an Oyakata now. Oh, he hiked his skirt up quite high when he got on the doyo there. Showing a bit of leg.
I noticed that he's on the right-hand side of your screen rather than the more important north-south side of the...
Well, he's still training, isn't he?
He's
I mean,
still
he's
training.
only come in. So
well, I mean, that's how I saw it.
the left foot of Chiyo Arashi going
Oh.
down at...
I think it went down
before.
first. Yeah, it went down first.
Akisiyama straight back. He's still got the fire in his belly because he looked straight back at the Gyoji to see what had happened there. He wants the win on day one. He knows how important it is for his psychology for the rest of the 7 bouts for him.
Looks
Have a bit
like
of a
the Shimpan, just kind of making plans for what they'll do after the bout, because this is after the day's action today, because I think this is quite straightforward, and we will expect that this will be reversed. What do you think of the doyo that's been prepared for Nagoya this time?
I think it's looking great, actually. I mean, it's only very early, but it's nice and dark. The clay looks very solid. There's there's not cracks already. I mean, sometimes you see cracks right at the start.
There are cracks right at the start.
Oh, you can see cracks.
I can see cracks.
Oh.
And to me, that has been reversed. Common sense prevails. Look, I would say that the doyo is looking a little bit blonde. A little bit dry. I know it's very hot in Nagoya at the moment.
東方友風川崎市川崎区出身二所ノ関部屋西方大翔丸大阪市平野区出身追手風部屋 ただいまの決まり手は押し出し。押し出して友風の勝ち。
So Adams, this Audible original podcast about the five tastes. I'm the main character, right? Salt did start the global economy, but we have more bitter taste receptors than any other. Well, sugar was so precious people could only buy a teaspoon a year. Sour's essential for survival. Our bodies don't even make vitamin C. Umami is the key to cooking. But shouldn't taste work together, Adams? How taste changed the world with me, Adam Lee.
Hey everyone, can you hear us now? How is everyone? We are back on. Hello, Ben. Hello, Thaddeus. Fun stuff from Chicago. Up late. So late.
Well, it's the 3 a.m. gang, right?
Yeah.
Is it 3 a.m. in the States?
well-
it's very, very late. It's too late.
Which coast is Chicago on? I'm going to have it. I think I know. It's the West Coast, up the top.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. So I think that's longer ago. So it might not be 3 a.m. It might be 1 a.m.
Okay, it's still very, very late. But it might be Saturday night. Who knows? No one really ever
It's
can.
Saturday night. It's definitely Saturday night.
Look at the beautiful locks of Kim Bozan. He's at Makushita 1, wanting a good showing here. Up against Taka Kento, no stranger to fighting all 15 days, looking for a way back into Juryo. The weather in Nagoya, it's that time of year where it's still very much summer. It's very, very humid. Nagoya's going to cop some rain over the first week at least. And it's not the top temperatures that get you. It'll be around 31, 29, kind of that range. It's the minimums. Every day, minimum of 23.
Oh, it never goes cool. Yeah.
Never, ever goes cool.
Bit of a break then from Taka Kento. He's keen to go against the extremely talented Kim Bozan. A whole lot of people keeping an eye on this Makushita 1. Where's he going to go from here? He's keeping his head, keeping it really cool. He goes forward. He gets his hands around Taka Kento's face and then he turns around, pivots and drops him to the ground.
Yeah, very, very easy work for Kim Bozan. Fighting, I would guess, at his highest rank.
Absolutely. Every one of his basho has been his highest rank. He
That's
only
true.
started last year in September. He's at Kisebeya and he has absolutely rocked the sumo world from Kazakhstan. He has 2 Yushos under his belt already, Sandanme and Makushita. He did cheat a bit. He started in Sandanme. I mean, he was one of those guys who overachieved and went to university and showed off a bit with great sumo. That's fine. But he does need to prove himself now, and he is, actually. So I will take all of that back.
Yeah, well, I mean, as a 25-year-old, I think I don't mind this way into sumo. Sort out yourself in university. Come 24, 25, enter strong. It'll be interesting to see how far he can go on this spectacular run at the start of his career.
Siggy, hello.
Ah,
I'm going to
Siggy,
say
hello.
hello before we get going. Thanks so much for coming into the chat. Are you still at the pool? And is there still a storm going on? I saw that had finished in Texas. Oh, no, it's the night now. That was earlier in the day, of course. I'm just imagining whatever I see on Instagram, I imagine is happening at exactly that time. Good on me.
Well, so this is the last bout for Makushita, Taka Kento, Kim Bozan. If you have just joined us, Chiyo Sakaya at Makushita 1 has been up around Juryo before. In fact, he was in Juryo the last 2 bashos, March and May, but went 7 and 8, both times at Juryo 14 East. And I think after that second 7-8, they knew it was time. Back to Makushita for you.
He pushed his luck as far as it would go. His opponent, Gonoyama. And he has just joined the very new, the very fresh Takakuma stable, headed up by ex-Goedo, Takakuma Oyakata. And he has changed his name from Nishikawa, which is how we knew him, coming up. He has been in Makushita for a little while, for about a year now, and he has won Makushita Yusho. It was at Makushita 35, so it wasn't enough to catapult him into Juryo. That's why he hasn't seen him before. But since then, he's got a couple of kachikoshis, just some good, solid sumo, not overachieving, just doing enough, and finally moving himself into that Juryo position. It'll be interesting to see what Goedo is like as a coach, whether he can keep this guy moving up. Hey, Tim. Welcome. Thanks so much for coming in. So lovely to have everyone in the chat. And Chio Sakaya, he breaks. It's a mata from him. Sorry. Everyone says sorry. And they go back down. There is some strapping on the left knee of Gonoyama. Doesn't look to be bothering him. He comes in strongly, but he moves past Chio Sakaya, who darts out of the way. But Gonoyama turns around, comes straight back at him, and he's able to get Chio Sakaya off balance and push him down, hands flat on the dirt. That's a day one win. So important for Gonoyama.
I thought Chio Sakaya here kept his eyes on Gonoyama as he approached, which did allow him that brief moment to break away out of the line of Gonoyama's attacks. But really, what we saw was a great response from Gonoyama as he turned quickly and engaged, looking very, very balanced as he moved forward here. So a great win on day one for Gonoyama. Very interesting to see what Goedo will do with this young man. I think there's a lot of potential.
Yeah. I can't wait to see everyone. I still feel that we're in a bit of a crossroads time where we've all been watching long enough. I mean, there might be some people listening who've listened forever, but a lot of us have watched for long enough now that we're starting to see the people who, some of the Rikishi we've loved who have retired, starting their own stables. Nishon Ozeki, ex-Yoshikaze is a coach there as well. And Goedo, and we're going to start seeing all these young guys come through who are coached by our old favourites.
Well, Oshoma up next against Hokuseiho.
Huge bout.
Oshoma, he is a Mongolian Rikishi. He's 25 years old, only in his 5th official tournament after coming in through the Nippon Sports Science University, probably studying some kind of dietary science.
Well, actually, I heard back about that from Chris on Twitter, who let me know that we were talking about Shohozan on our pre-Basho episode and how he was looking forward to educating younger Rikishi on dietary requirements.
Well, it was younger sports people.
Sports people, that's right. It's because he has diabetes.
Oh.
And so he's expressed an interest in helping younger sports people, as you say, not just sumo, manage that and how they can still achieve at the highest level with diabetes. So
very, very interesting.
For that correction, Chris.
We should address the Rikishi on the other side.
Yes.
Hokuseiho.
We absolutely should. Juryo 12, it's not the first time we've seen him in Juryo. He unfortunately got COVID the first time. I mean, so many of our plans have been skittled by that virus. It certainly did that to him. He's been out a number of times because of it. But now he's back at Juryo 12, even better than before.
Some would even say Juryo 13.
Oh, he was Juryo 12 before.
Oh, sorry.
Wrong thing there. So it's not his best rank. It's not his highest rank. He came back at Juryo 13.
But look, I don't know. Hokuseiho, he's very, very young. We have to keep that in mind. We know he's very big, but I think we're still seeing a Rikishi wiring himself up, so to speak.
Both of these guys young. Did you say? Oshoma, 25.
25.
Not as young as I always think, because he's just started in sumo. But Hokuseiho, 20 years old.
Okay, they're going. Hokuseiho lumbers forward. Oshoma opts for the belt. He's got a front hand on and he's staying low, keeping Hokuseiho's left hand out of business. A little bit of games there on the left-hand side. Hokuseiho looking to dart that hand around. He also has that shallow front mawashi grip. Standing very, very tall, Hokuseiho. Whereas Oshoma's digging in. He tries to swing Hokuseiho around, but Hokuseiho stands tall. A brief moment of stillness here. What's Hokuseiho got up his sleeve here? Really looking to get something going with that left hand grip. But as long as Oshoma's low, it's very, very hard for Hokuseiho to move him back.
He's so big, though. He's like a wall. It's like his size is providing...
Cool. Oshoma goes to work underneath. He's pushing high on the chest. Hokuseiho, he's very, very hard to move. Somehow just plants that left foot and just refuses to go backwards. As Oshoma's still working away underneath. Well, there we go. As soon as he gets that side belt grip. A hard-fought win for Oshoma today. Great stuff.
I liked how Oshoma kind of just chucked him across the Tawara a little bit. Like, you tried to mess with me, and I got the better of you straight away. Like, we didn't even need to come up against each other a couple of times. We've already fought down there. I've got the better record, and I'm going to dominate you again today. Just a little shove there. Hokuseiho, GC Sumo is weird.
Yeah.
The Tachiai,
It's non-existent.
really happens.
Yeah, nothing happens.
Even less than Shodai. He's even more upright than Shodai. And of course, he's taller than Shodai, and that's fine. But we have seen the problems that has led to for Shodai. And it does seem that a lot of his losses come from the Tachiai.
But not having the best Tachiai isn't the end of the world. I think my concerns with Hokuseiho, we all know that he's working on his Tachiai. It's what happens mid-bout.
Yeah.
Was not very, very convincing there.
Yeah, as Tim says, just slow motion. Totally slow motion. Not a lot of aggression from either of them there, actually. I mean, I feel like Oshoma knew that he was in the better position and just was solid until the end.
Up next, we have Kid Nawaka up against Yago. Kid Nawaka, the 21-year-old from Yamagata-ken in Japan. He's fighting quite low. Juryo 12. This is his lowest rank since coming into Juryo back at the start of this year. Found his way to Juryo 5. Had to pull out halfway through due to injury. Came back for the final 4 days, but in May posted 3 wins, 7 losses, and 5 days off. Lot to like about Kid Nawaka.
Yeah. He's pretty great. He's enjoyable to watch, and he's really up and down as well. We've seen him succeed, and we've seen him really fail. And I kind of like that when you're coming through Juryo. I like not knowing for every bout and for every basho how he's going to turn up. He's just not consistent enough yet. And on day one especially, I love not knowing how he's going to go. His opponent is Yago, 28 years old, who has absolutely clawed his way back to Juryo, and he's managed to stay there since July last year, just by the skin of his teeth. When he was down at Juryo 14 in January, he somehow pulled out an 11-4. He found himself some form, but in May, no go. He reversed that. He went 4 and 11. Still as heavily bandaged as ever.
It's the injuries for Yago, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just keeping his body, in tune enough that he can see out the 15 days. When it works, it works. But when the wheels fall off, sometimes Yago just looks absolutely broken.
Yeah, he really does. And again, I feel like on day one, we have to see how injured he is. It's just a matter of day by day seeing how those knees are going to hold up. He's got the heaviest strapping I've actually ever seen in sumo, where there's not just the knee strapping and not just a kind of Terunofuji style paper mache, but there's something running down vertically as well to kind of hold it all together.
There's something structural under there.
Yeah, it's like they are his knees. It's like they cut out the knees and they just inserted those wrappings.
I mean, where are the limits to what you can support a knee with?
That's right.
I think he's pushing up against the legalities of how you can strap a knee. Gyoji points forward. Looks like they're ready to go.
Kid Nawaka down first. Yago making him wait a little bit. Yago back from the Shikiri Sen. Kid Nawaka steps to his left and takes the Yago attack. Yago with a left hand on Kid Nawaka's Mawashi, but Kid Nawaka has both hands. Yago doesn't look like he has the right, although maybe he does by now. He doesn't. But Kitnawaka has both hands on, struggling to move Yago back. Even with the knees, it's hard. He gets him right to the Tawara, stands him right up on it. But Yago, what a staunch defence. He's just pushing back with the balls of his feet on the Tawara, refuses to go over, falls backwards and gets pancaked by Kitnawaka. That's the kind of thing that makes you lose all your breath.
I tell you what a great fight on the
It
Tawara
was.
from Yago today. Really proves that he has a lot of investment in this day one win. Wanted to take Kitnawaka's Sagari home as a bit of a souvenir.
I thought they were going to shake hands then.
Yeah.
It was because I was looking down and I looked up and I just saw Kitnawaka's hand outstretched. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're
Yeah,
going to shake hands.
Well, he nearly pulled off a miracle win there, but obviously when he did fight his way off the Tawara, as you'll see here, Kitnawaka was still in that superior position, still had the best part of 2 hands on the belt. Yeah, he did there and couldn't do it a second time. A twist there, not quite enough to get Kitnawaka around. Yori Taoshi win.
Next up, we have Kaisei up against Tochimaru. Now, Kaisei has fallen all the way to Juryo 11 East. We've been hoping, probably along with a lot of you, that Kaisei would find some form and start to come back. I mean, he's a lovable guy. He's known for being friendly and supportive and a really great character. But the sumo at the moment, or at least the body perhaps, is not quite responding as he would like it.
No, he's just not looking strong on the belt. The knees aren't really giving him the support he needs. I think there's an overall strength issue with Kaisei. Sometimes I wonder whether it's the mind as well, but
Could be.
Could
It Could
be.
be. I mean, he's getting older. He's 35. We
Yeah.
always comment on age, and we've got people like Tamawashi now in his most recent interview saying he's going to keep going until 40 or 45. But I mean, I know how I feel at 44, and it's not like I could show up and do this every day. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Makakoshi in a row, Kaisei, including one where he was out with injury. That was the one where he dropped from Makuchi to Juryo, but it's not happening for him.
it's a bit of a concern, isn't it? On the other side, we have Tochimaru, who is coming in at Juryo 11 today. He's 29 years old. He's from Tokyo, fighting, well, at his highest rank, would you believe, at Juryo 11. Only had his Juryo debut, of course, back in May, where he posted a very solid 8-7. But again, 2 losses on the final days would have left him feeling quite unsatisfied with that result. Has been around for quite a while, made his debut back in 2011 in May.
And has become the challenger for the most Maru is how I would describe it, I guess. Challenging Mr. Sumo, our Mr. Sumo, Chiyomaru, for a bigger
Well, I mean,
Maru, a bigger circle.
it's,
It's not right.
I've heard people talk about it. I mean, are they serious? There's
I don't
no
know.
competition.
What does everyone think? Hey, Scott, lovely to have you here. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with us. We are loving having everyone here, especially after our last announcement of not doing so many podcasts. It's so lovely to still have the community together on day one, hanging out. We have got the big sake bottle here, I should say, if you don't know what I'm talking about. The pre-Basho episode and our Instagram stories can make it clear.
Well, the Gyorji's flicks the Gunbai down. He is ready for sumo.
Cutting through the air.
Kaisei down first. Tochimaru attacks high on Kaisei, then a quick pull, working the face of Kaisei. Kaisei looked bothered. I wonder
no.
whether...
Oh,
yeah, he's
no.
hit him in the face there, and Kaisei did not like it. I wonder whether or not that...
Is it
I
the
know, is it
shoulder?
the shoulder?
The right shoulder or the neck? Something's gone out there. Something's gone.
I think it's... No, it might be...
head
I reckon that left-hand attack of Tochimaru, I don't think he intended that to go so high.
Well, he's known for the tsupari, but I actually thought that Kaisei had really deflected it well. I thought he'd come in so quickly that he'd got around Tochimaru's.
Now you can see there.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
the
he might
whack.
have gouged his eye, actually.
Oh, right. I thought maybe it was the right slap, the massive slap
No,
on Kaisei's face had put his neck out.
No.
We've got 20 hypotheses so far.
Well, history will show that Tochimaru gets the Okuridashi win, but eye gouging, of course, is you can be disqualified.
Yeah, you can actually.
Probably, I mean, if we, with our replay and close-ups, couldn't really tell, they probably would be very brave to call that unless it was
Which
very
eye
obvious.
did you think it was?
The right eye of Kaisei.
Okay. Was he screwing it up? I don't know. I didn't see that at all, but maybe I just wasn't looking at that. There's so many places to look on the body in sumo when something goes wrong, and I feel like I am never, ever looking in the right spot.
Well, up next, we have Shimizu Umi and Churano Umi. Battle of the Umis. Shimizu Umi coming into this basho at Juryo 10. He's from Kagoshima, 26 years old, and, well, technically fighting at his highest rank. He was Juryo 10 last time, Juryo 10 East, and a 7-8 has him in exactly the same position. So he's still at his
Lucky.
highest rank.
Very lucky. His opponent is Churano Umi. He's 29 years old, and we have always been I think both of us have been Churano Umi fans. He's from Okinawa, and just, coming from a different place, and his style of sumo has been enjoyment to watch.
Enjoyable.
Enjoyable, that's the one. All I can think of is Tanoshi at the moment. So he just managed to rescue himself in May at Juryo 14 with a 9-6, which is a little bit better than just rescuing yourself with a kachikashi.
Well, he was rewarded handsomely with that bump to Juryo 9.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Shimizu Umi feels like he's been around forever, but this is only his third Juryo bout, although he did make his debut back in March 2012. So it feels like at 26 years old, it's the right time for him to be peaking. And you would say that this basho is quite important for him to consolidate this position at Juryo.
I'm just having a look at the theories on the last bout. The shoulder. So Tim's saying he thought it was the shoulder. Ben, index finger deep in the nostril, scratched the brain. That makes me wince. But it could be something with the nose or another part of the face, I guess, with those tsupari attacks of Tochimaru.
Could we all agree that it was in the top half of his body?
Top half of his body.
Top
yep.
half.
Yep. Which is good because Kaisei's knees are pretty shot as well. So if it was more bottom half,
Yep.
it would be a worry. Here they go, Shimazumi and Churanoumi. Shimazumi, like a flash out of the pan, comes forward. He gets his arms around Churanoumi, but Churanoumi, he is moving just as quickly. This is a frenzied bout, both trying to go at each other's bodies, and it's Churanoumi in the end who gets the movement to take Shimazumi across the bales.
What about?
That was great.
I feel like
That's more like it.
That was like someone splashing a bucket of cold water in your face.
I mean, imagine showing someone new to sumo the Hokuseiho bout and then showing them this one and saying this is the same sport.
Well, yeah. Well, I think that would be probably not that surprising if you said it's the same sport. but the pace of these two bouts, I was very impressed with Shimizu Umi's tachi-eye. He got right up in the grill of Churanoumi, but Churanoumi caught it like someone was throwing a bag of potatoes at him.
Yeah, he just took him, didn't he?
He just took him.
He's like, no thanks, I'll be the one coming forward, and he did. He didn't let himself be pushed back. He kept rocking from side to side. There was that cool thing where you're able to take the momentum of your opponent because it comes a little bit from one side, absorb it, then flip to the other side and use that back at them. I thought that was a bout that really showed that kind of way of fighting.
Now, I'm not sure whether Abema TV has done something with their white balance or the sweepers have swept away the dry layer of clay on the top, but now we're talking with this doyo.
Yeah, it looks all right.
Looks
very
a bit
dark,
better. That looks better.
Still the cracks are there. Before we realised we weren't on air, we were talking a lot about the doyo and the cracks in there and how there were already cracks on day one.
And I thought that the doyo was looking a little bit blonde. I mean, they're not reusing the doyo, are they? Have they picked it up from Tokyo and driven it down in a truck? I mean, that looks old.
Does look a bit old.
Looks
I thought it
old.
looked pristine, but it's like my eyes hadn't focused. It was like when I'm trying to look for where an injury's happened. My eyes hadn't focused on the right bit. Just always for my whole life looking at the wrong area.
Okay, up next we have Keisho and Enho. Wow. Keisho, the 27-year-old from Aichi Ken. This is his hometown basho, being in Nagoya. Is it Juryo 9? Another one of these rikishis who maintained their rank last time after going 7 and 8. He was Juryo 9 East last time and fills the same position now. Has been as high as Juryo 2, but a couple of disastrous basho in March and May, 5, 10 and 7, 8 respectively. Have him down the bottom still.
Yeah, he just had such promise, but it hasn't fulfilled. I thought he was going to go straight up to Makuuchi at one point.
Well,
But he was just going to keep going.
By the end of 2021, he posted an 11-4 at Juryo 13, and I thought, here we go. Here's that consistency. But it just hasn't quite kept it together. On your screen now.
Oh,
Fan
the man,
favourite,
the mystery,
Enho.
the enigma. He's not really a mystery or an enigma, actually. He's definitely the man, a man. And he's definitely still in Juryo. We made a comment a while ago that maybe Juryo is his place now, and it has proven to be that way. It's sort of a mainstay for him now. I'd say, has he spent longer in Juryo now than he has in Makuuchi? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 basho in Makuuchi and many more in Juryo. I mean, maybe you can't count the ones on the way up. It's more about coming back down.
Since coming down, and not counting the ones that he missed, it's 7. So with the ones he's missed, that's I can't believe that.
Because once someone makes it up there, you think of them as a Makuuchi rikishi, and that's played out by the way that sumo works. Is that when you retire, you're remembered for your highest rank. So if you've got up to sekiwake or komusubi or zeki, that's how you're described. So he will be kind of remembered as a Makuuchi rikishi. But if he spends the rest of his career in Juryo, what does that mean?
Yeah, I think I'll remember him as a Juryo rikishi.
Right,
Well,
right. Okay.
Look, it really depends what goes on after this, but
I guess it's just because of his popularity.
I mean, if he wasn't as good looking, we wouldn't be talking about him.
Good looking.
Well,
Is he?
people seem to think he is. I don't see faces.
No.
I see sumo. And sometimes the sumo is beautiful. Let's see what happens today. The gunbai is pointed forward. They're ready to go. They have met 3 times before, Keisho winning 2 of those times. Great time to cut away to fans waving the belt. Now we're ready to go here. Keisho down first. Enho, well, we got taken back by a high attack from Keisho, but Enho turns the tables, gets on the belt and drives Keisho over the bales. Again, very quick shot to the fans.
And nice to see Enho's kids in the audience. He doesn't have kids, I don't think. Enho fan club?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
he did well there.
No, I think he responded very, very well to
Great
that,
movement.
that attack. I thought he might have got cleaned up here out of the tachi-ai.
I mean, it's so easy for him to be taken backwards, but his sideways movement is fantastic. He did get blasted back, but that arm hold, Keisho got out of it. He actually pulled his arm straight out, but maybe that was something that contributed to him getting a little bit off balance and a little bit in the wrong position. He had to extricate himself from that position. Otherwise, Enho would have just hauled him around with the arm.
And you wonder what would have played out had Keisho not gone for the pull there. It was only a split second thing, but bringing Enho in so close can be very, very dangerous.
Keisho with a little wince when he fell off the doyo there. I wonder whether it was a little bit of a pain, whether something happened as he went down. It's never great to fall off the doyo like that, or whether he was just like, oh, I got beaten by Enho. I think it was probably the latter, actually. He was just like, oh, I let myself be beaten in that situation, and I really didn't want that to happen. Tim saying quality little man sumo. Yeah, he really knows what to do at the edge. He knows how to take a charge now, and I think that's so important because he's always going to be moved around. He's always going to be put in a difficult situation. What can he do with it? And in that time, he found what to do.
He certainly did. Well, I don't know what they're advertising here, but these kids, this seems like a cry for help from them. Let's have a look at the next bout when we come back. Hirodoumi is up against Korokuzan as we are treated to a beautiful wide shot of the Dolphins arena in Nagoya. Seats about 5,000, is that right? I think I remember the capacity being that. And as you said in the pre-Basho podcast, no restrictions in terms of capacity.
Yeah, there are a few empty seats there. I mean, I feel like it shouldn't be empty if it's not at Tokyo and they're not trying to get 11,000 people, which might be full as well these days. But I feel like Nagoya should be full. Maybe I'm sure it will be by Makuuchi. Somebody's just ducked out for a beer. Can we see anyone drinking alcohol there? That's what I'm interested in now.
We'll keep
Can
an
you
eye
go
out.
and have a can?
Hirodoumi, the 22-year-old from Nagasaki, is fighting at his highest rank at Juryo 8 in only his 5th Juryo appearance after making his debut in 2016.
Korokuzan is his opponent, and he's got a little bit lost amongst his stablemates. He's at Arashio, which is the same stable as Wakataka Kage, Wakamoto Haru, and he hasn't quite had the same success as those two at least. He did come up to Makuuchi with his great 10-5 in January, but he stayed there for one basho, but he went straight back down again with a 2-13. So what is happening with this guy, and what will we see right now, right here on day one for Korokuzan? Hirodoumi right up on the Shikiri sen, and he comes in low, slapping at Korokuzan. Korokuzan trying to move forward with his trademark Tsupari attack, but he can't move Hirodoumi back. Hirodoumi takes the slaps. He's shoved from side to side, and he comes down low. But Korokuzan, the defense on the bales is real, and he stays there for a while, but he can't stop Hirodoumi pushing him over. Just continually Hirodoumi coming back low, low again until he gets the win.
I mean, that was an almighty effort from Korokuzan on the bales there, but Hirodoumi, it just felt like it was a matter of time for him. Just the speed and the power and the desperation. Korokuzan could not hold that back forever. And again, a bit of a lackluster performance here as Korokuzan really let Hirodoumi run the show here.
Come on, Jasper Kenneth. Indeed, I always forget that that's
Jasper
his name.
Kenneth.
So brilliant. Such a great name. It wasn't today for Jasper, but I'm sure he will come back soon. Hirodoumi, actually, I'm a big fan of Hirodoumi. I don't know, sometimes I'm sure everyone would identify that sometimes you just have a feeling for a Rikishi and you just like watching them or like their story or something. And Hirodoumi is someone who I feel like I could be a big fan of if he stays doing well for a while, stays up in the top 2 divisions.
Let's look at the next bout. Aqua up against Bushozan. Aqua, the man, the mystery.
He is a mystery and an enigma.
He's a total mystery. He's 31 years old. We've seen enough of his sumo to know there are no answers to the questions that he poses with his very, very unique style. Got a little bit obsessed with the kakanage over the last year or so. You can see him frequently, if you go through the archives, trying multiple kakanage attacks and attempts, almost to a comic level.
He's a bit of a comic figure in a way. I mean, where the Rikishi have just written down their wishes for Tanabata, which, as I understand, is a festival where you can ask for, good health or a yusho or not to be kataban or a Rolex watch, as Chiyotaryu asked for, fair enough, or Midori Fuji, who wanted to become a manly man. But Aqua, he asked for sweets to eat to his heart's content. Now, that is a man who knows what he wants, and he's not afraid to ask for it.
I mean, there's something kind of beautifully simple about that request, isn't it? Just gorging yourself on chocolate.
What kind of sweets? Like a Lamington or a brownie, or is it lollies?
Oh, I think it's every sweet under the sun.
Everything's sweet. What's the best
Look,
Japanese sweet?
I mean, it's not something they do particularly well, in my opinion. But convenience store chocolate is where it's at for me. Aqua, let's look at his 2022. 411 in January at Maegashira 10. 411 in March at Maegashira 15. 510 at Juryo 4. It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Bushozan, though, speaking of someone who I am on the train of, I love this guy. I love watching him fight. He's up and down. Mostly up, to be fair, recently.
I just read Ben's comment. Anyway, it looks like they're about to go here.
He's had a bit of a 2-13, but he's back now, Bushozan. He's had a 9-6 now.
Okay, Aqua down first. Hits Bushozan hard, but pulls, and Bushozan is there to scoop up the garbage and throw it out.
Oh, no.
Poor sumo from Aqua, I think you would agree.
Yeah. Didn't do anything today. It was good to see Bushozan actually do something. And it seems silly to talk about sumo in that way, in that perspective, somebody doing something and somebody not doing something. But sometimes it is as simple as that. And today it was Bushozan who took the initiative and Aqua failed to show up.
Well, I mean, if you look at Aqua's offering at the start, it was to pull and step back. I mean, it can't be a huge surprise that he ends up sitting in the second row.
Yeah. Yeah, the pull didn't work at all. If you pull, you have to do something with it, or you have to leave yourself in a situation where you can do something. You can come back from a different angle, or you can grab their arm or leg or whatever. I mean, there's so many ways to come back after that sort of movement. But Aqua just waited and let himself be pushed out.
Well, he's not fighting next, but it's great to see Chiyanokuni standing
He's still
Doyo's
there.
side.
He's still
He's
there.
going to sit down and await his battle following this one. But good to see him back. But let's have a look at the bout that's about to take place. Atami Fuji and Tokushoryu. Now, Tokushoryu was another one that you got some inside information on his wishes for the future.
Yeah, let me remind myself of what he said. I think it said he wanted he wanted to have the best score.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit ambiguous.
It's a bit open-ended.
The best score out of anyone or just your best score? That's exactly what he said. I want to get the best score.
Well, I mean, that could be interpreted as 15.
Yeah.
Or 16 or 17 if there's a playoff.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Atami Fuji. He is at Juryo 6. Obviously, it's his highest rank after, a 10-5 last time at Juryo 12. Things were just falling his way last time. He looked very, very impressive. Only 19 years old. You have to keep this in mind as you watch him on his way up. A lot of people are excited about this young man.
Oh, very much so. He has created a lot of good faith for himself, a lot of good feelings towards him. I think it's a real combination of things. I mean, he's in Isagahama. He gets a really high profile as part of that, so people see him a lot. But his beautiful smile, his attitude to sumo, some of his routines and the way he winds himself up, and the fact that the way that he's come up through the ranks, I think is really interesting. And I think it's great today to see a real older stalwart of sumo in Tokushoryu, just experienced and so many tricks and the one you show, he's really lived a sumo life, come up against someone new like Atami Fuji, who a lot of people's hopes are riding on.
Yeah, that's a really nice sentiment. He has lived a rich sumo life. And that's all you can hope for.
Yeah.
And sweets. And a Rolex.
Chiyotaru, my goodness.
Tokushoryu, as you said, he's 35 years old and Nara native.
Yes.
And of course, Nara in the news this week because that's where the unfortunate assassination of ex-Prime Minister Abe took place.
Just really...
Just not good.
Shocking
Not
news.
good. So I hope that hasn't affected Tokushoryu's preparation for this basho.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been... I guess if something like that happens in your hometown, and I'm sure he's still got friends and family there. It's
Hmm.
just really a weird thing to happen. I feel like Tokushoryu, he's pretty stable. He's just ready to sumo. He wants to show this guy what he can do on the bales, I reckon.
Oh, you think he'll
Let him take him
step
back?
Yeah.
Deliver him over. That's my prediction. Oh, there's
Oh,
the
I like
hype up.
that.
There it is. He just gets into it. Maybe I need to start doing that before work every day. Just really gets you ready for the day. Should Tokushoryu get to do a personal doyo iri as the Juryo Yokozuna? Hell yes.
I love that idea.
Clear the schedule for that, please.
Mm.
Just don't even show the final Makuuchi bout if you can get that in. Here they go. Atami Fuji, he's down. Tokushoryu is eyeballing him. And he comes in slowly, but Tokushoryu gets his arms around Atami Fuji and they lock up, Mawashi holding both of them. Tokushoryu, though, he is pumped and takes Atami Fuji back over the bales. He enjoyed that Mawashi hold, I think.
Yeah, well, I think that's experience coming into play there. Really smothered Atami Fuji and did not give Atami Fuji anywhere to go here. As we see the replay come in, positive sumo from Tokushoryu, and then he moved forward confidently, prevented any belt hold from Atami Fuji, well, for a little while, before just, heaving him over there with that right-hand belt grip. Atami Fuji felt that loss, gave Tokushoryu a little push.
Little push.
Get off me.
Tokushoryu with an animated face, I would call it after that. Just well on the way to his best score ever. Yokozuna,
I love
that's
it.
a thing.
I love it.
Juryo Yokozuna gets a day one win, and tomorrow we'll write we'll probably write an email, I guess it's a bit quicker, or send them a line message, the JSA, to get Tokushoryu on the schedule tomorrow. We can't write our usual heavily penned letter.
No.
Take too long to get there.
Well, Chinokuni is up next.
Yes! I mean, every time I think, maybe he's enjoy retiring and getting a sumo smile and just hanging out. But every time I see him back, I'm like, I'm so glad that didn't happen.
Oh, look, I mean, Chinokuni has been in the wars. It's been a really, really tough time for him. And today he goes up against another Rikishi who is also very familiar with the tough times, Mitoryu.
Yeah, Mitoryu. He has been out injured and COVID, I think, a few times in the last year. But who hasn't really? I mean, join the club. But
I mean, I haven't, but
oh, yeah, you haven't and I haven't, actually.
none of us have.
Does anyone else not have COVID? It's so weird that we haven't had it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, it's good. It's good, but it's weird. He went 7-8, Mitoryu, in May. Finished off with 3 wins, though. I mean, I feel like he's returned to form, and the 10-5 in March, but it is really up and down. He was in the Yusho race in March, it must have been.
Yeah, right. And he fell away from memory in the last few days, didn't he?
Yep, he got 3 losses out of the last 4 days.
Well, Chinokuni's career has been marked by quite major injuries that's seen him work his way to Makuuchi, sustain an injury, and then have to work his way up. And he's done that twice. Most recently, coming back in 2019 after a 4 Basho break, and he, from there, found his way all the way back up. He got to Makushita 3 in 2021 before injuries started plaguing him again. And it's been a bit of a slow slide. Some bad scores over 2022.
I feel like...
Well, I was going to say, the fire's not out yet.
No, very much not. No, I mean, the fire will never be out with him, perhaps. That's one of the reasons why we love him so much, in that he can't show up and not have the fire. He can't show up and not try his absolute best, throw himself into the fight, and maybe that's why he's got injured so much.
Absolutely.
He hasn't looked after his body as much as he could, perhaps. When he's not going well, he still just absolutely goes for it. And what I was going to say is just he's someone who you know how there's that thing of who would you have at a dinner party? Like what famous people would you invite to a dinner party? I feel like he would have some great stories, Chionokuni, and he always crops up in my head when someone asks that as someone I'd love to come to my dinner party.
Completely agree. Well, this is our fourth last bout. Chionokuni, Mitoryu, they are ready to go. Just having a look, Chionokuni's hand's still quite heavily strapped there, but the bottom half looking mostly strap-free.
Yeah, the bottom half, there's nothing
looking
there.
good. Mitoryu crowding the Shikiri-sen, send him back. Well, Chionokuni slaps his way forward, but it's Mitoryu who's on top of Chionokuni, very quickly turning him around, taking him across the bales. Oh, that was over a little quick for my liking.
Yeah, not happening there today. Mitoryu feeling like at Juryo 4, as you said, Tim, that he's back in striking distance of Makuchi. So, ready to go, but he didn't do anything particularly today. Chionokuni just kind of turned around and put himself in a difficult position, gave Mitoryu a little hug and a pat at the end, a little wry smile, and it's another day one loss for Chionokuni, but as usually, he showed up and he did his best.
Day ones have not been kind to Chionokuni in 2022. This is his fourth basho, and he's lost every day one
Maybe
this year.
he's ready for it. It's not the way you want it to go. I feel like I harp on about day one wins, but I do think there's a big psychological advantage if you win on day one. Although you can come back on day two extra fired up if you don't, I suppose. There's that flip side of it. Speech time. We get to see our Sanyaku. Now, there's a few boys in trouble here, and it's the first two to step up on the doyo from the west side. It's Mitakumi and Shodai. They sheepishly come into the front row, possibly acknowledging that maybe Daisho and Abi should be there instead of them.
And look, I mean, the first thing that strikes me is we've got a good spread. We can see everyone's face.
Yeah, because
it's quite a rarity.
That's nice.
Yep. It's quite symmetrical. Let's have a look what we can take away from these face expressions. I mean, the one that jumps out at me is Daisho. That's the look of a man who's going to be going kachikashi by the weekend.
He is frowning. He is looking absolutely RTG, ready to go, steeled himself. For me, who stands out is Mitakumi, who absolutely doesn't look like that. Don't you reckon his arms are like hanging a bit weird? Has he lost weight, Mitakumi? Like a
it's
lot
quite,
of weight?
I think there was a report that he'd lost 10 kilos, right?
Is that him? I can't
not
remember now. Shodai, I remember, has put on weight, and I reckon I can see that in that belly. Terunofuji too looks slim. Goodness.
It looks like there's some
praying?
silence for...
Oh,
yeah.
Of course.
Oh, not the full minute there, but time is money. Moving back along, let's have a look at Taka Keisho. He's got that trademark grimace.
Yeah.
Although whispers I hear is that big things for him this basho.
Oh, huge. I might... We didn't do our predictions on the pre-basho, actually.
Oh, well, they're a waste of time.
But maybe... we always get them wrong. There's absolutely no point us doing them. But I'm going to make one now, actually. I'm going to make a prediction that Taka Keisho is going to win.
It's huge. Okay, everyone write that down. Because, I mean, we have a track record of making bold predictions and then never, ever following up.
Yep.
Mainly because they're always wrong.
Yep. Yuki's
Welcome,
here.
Yuki, to the stream.
Yuki's been asleep for about 17 hours, and it's now that she wakes up and comes and wants to say hello, of course.
So looking at Hoshoryu.
Well, Hoshori is twitchy, actually.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed about him so far. So Abi's really good at staying still. Wakataka Kage is really good at staying still. Daisho, as you said, is steely. But Hoshori, he's moving around a bit.
Oh, I mean, the
Brushed
thing
a few
is,
things off his body.
once he steps up on the doyo, it's hard to control the sumo. And he wants to belt these guys. It's very, very unnatural for him to not be pushing anyone.
Everyone's sweaty, of course.
So Wakataka Kage, the other face we can see there over the shoulder of Terunofuji, his second basho at Sekiwake after what I am calling a solid 9-6. No shame in that. I'm interested. What do people think a score would be for Wakataka Kage to make a serious Ozeki application?
I feel like I've been flamed here by Ben. He's not writing down my prediction of Takakeisho because he'd have to put it in the fiction section of the prediction library of life.
Wow.
Ben,
Wow.
we will never
love
hang
it.
out again. I would like to hear other people's bold predictions then. What's worse than Takakeisho? What do you think will happen? Not necessarily a Yusho that is more fictional than Takakeisho. And if anyone says that Shodai doesn't get a Kachikoshi, I will never talk to them again.
Well, I think even the Shodai faithful are
No, he will.
feeling a bit pessimistic.
Look at that belly. It's huge. He's just going to bumpity people out. Oh, Yuki. If the whole stream goes down, it's Yuki climbing the blinds.
Yeah.
協会ご挨拶は終わりました。
Well, you can see the Dolphins Arena slowly filling up.
It's a beautiful arena, actually.
It
I
is.
like it. Did you ever go in there when you lived there?
Never been there.
What else do they hold there? Who are the Dolphins? Is
Monster
it
trucks. I don't know.
dog show jumping?
Dog show jumping.
It's not show jumping, but they have these things in Australia. I mean, maybe in other countries.
No, they
as
do.
well, where
It's
the
other
dogs-
countries.
The dogs, but the sheepdog
Yeah,
trials?
yeah. Obstacle courses,
Yeah,
right?
obstacle courses. Yeah.
And they blitz through them.
Yeah, they're really good. And they do the bending like around the
Ugh.
poles, through the tunnels,
Yeah.
jump over stuff.
And the thing is, I'm always a bit sus of animal tricks.
Yeah.
But the dogs seem really, really happy at
No,
the
I
end.
think they really like it. There was one great at the halftime at the cricket. There's always different things, and there was only one time that I remember going to the cricket, and I think it might have been a state game, and they had the dogs
Oh, did
doing
they?
that, and it was just the best day of my life because usually it's like dirt bikes or
Yeah.
usually it's just the little kids playing cricket, which is boring because they're bad at cricket.
So I think while we can agree, dog obstacle course good.
Mm-hmm.
Dog dancing. Have you seen that?
At the cricket,
No. I've been to the cricket 2 times. Dog dancing. Have you
just
seen
in
that?
general, like on talent shows and stuff.
Yeah.
I have
You've
seen
seen it on
that.
talent shows, and I
Yeah.
think they have competitions for it as well.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's like-
amazing.
You need other hobbies.
Do you know what you should have?
You
though?
need some-
cat dancing.
Cat dancing. You do that every day. Yeah, you need some friends outside your dog. Anyway, back to sumo. We have we've got, hang on, I'm looking at Makuchi there.
It's Asanawaka
Yep.
and Daishoho. So Daishoho, 27 years old. He's a Mongolian and he's been around for quite a while, starting sumo in 2013. And he's been doing well recently. He's been trying to get back to Makuuchi. He went all the way down to Makushita. He hasn't been in Makuuchi since 2019. But it's looking okay for him here because he's made his way back to Juryo 3. We need some good, solid Mongolians making their way up, and he is really knocking at the door. If he does well here, he will probably cement a place back in the top division.
You would certainly think so. Asanawaka, 27 years old. He feels so new still.
I know, it's weird.
Asanawaka,
It's
the
weird.
former Terasawa.
It's
And
what a name change does for you. I might change my name because I reckon I'd feel younger.
gee, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I might feel more fresh. What would I change my name
I'd
to?
change mine to Terasawa because now that it's Dave Terasawa. Well, he let it go.
It's free.
It's free. What
There's
would
no
I tell
one
my...
else called Terasawa now.
How would I go about getting a Sumo DP page made for myself?
Just make it. Just go to the... I feel like you could hack that somehow. Don't bring it down, though. Maybe implement a way to keep
There are
it up.
already enough hackers bringing the site down without me trying to...
As we went to do the pre-Basho episode yesterday, you said, I need one more piece of information just before we start. And Sumo DB's just gone down. It's like the timing is impeccable.
And I know I can get it elsewhere, but I just like getting it from Sumo DB. Well, Wikipedia, you can get most of the same information,
I suppose,
but anyway. Asanowaka, Daishoho.
Both of these guys keen for a very good score this time around to try to catapult themselves up. It would be great to see Asanowaka have a crack as well. And he comes forward with a Norowa against Daishoho. And Daishoho pushes him back, but he comes back, Asanowaka, with the Mawashi hold and takes Daishoho back over the Tawara.
Well, powerful sumo today on display from Asanowaka. Just was all over Daishoho here. And I think this replay will show that Daishoho had very little opportunity to do the sport of sumo today. Yeah, very effective Norowa hold. Just at the touch yard, just enough to keep Daishoho from coming forward before Asanowaka threw himself at his opponent. Their great day one win for Asanowaka. That takes their head-to-head to 4-0 Asanowaka's way.
Scott suggesting Dave Omaru. Bit of a sick burn.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
Roundness, which you actually aren't. You're very svelte. Oh, hello to Annie as well. I meant to say I saw that ages ago, Scott. I'm so sorry, but hello to Annie as well. How is Queensland going? I hope it's not too wet. It's been raining a lot down here in Melbourne. Our car has a leak.
Oh.
And the inside of our car, I feel like one thing in life should be consistent, and it's that the inside of your car should be dry.
Yeah.
And the inside of our car,
not dry. Oh, you've just reminded me I've got to do something about that. Anyway, let's keep thinking about sumo, thinking happy thoughts. Kageaki up next against Tohakuryu. Kageaki at Juryo 2. Knocking on the door.
It's not right.
I mean, he seems to be the undemotable man. Kageaki famously does very, very well in the Banzukes where he posts Makakoshi results.
Yeah.
But even this time, a 6-9 at Magashira 17 back in May. They had no choice but to put him back to Juryo 3. He hasn't been going fantastically, Kageaki, in the higher division. That said, I don't think he'll be in Juryo very long.
No, he just manages to scrape together enough, doesn't he? Although against Tohakuryu can really confuse some people. Kageaki, we know what he's going to do. He's going to come straight forward. He's going to try and push Tohakuryu back. But Tohakuryu, he loves the pull, and he'll be looking to do something sneaky. I mean, sneaky in a good way, I suppose. You know, it's his own brand of sumo. Wily. Yeah, maybe he's the new Amanishiki, which seems like a bit of an offence to Amanishiki. But Tohakuryu, he is in form. He got a 9-6 in May. A Makakoshi before that, but there's a Kageaki fan.
Yeah.
We'll ignore the Tohakuryu fan there. But there's a Kageaki fan.
No, they were both
Wasn't
Kageaki
were
fans,
they?
yeah.
What was the 3 kanji one then?
It was Dai, so I couldn't see the last kanji there.
Was it Daiamami? Kageaki, I haven't heard a lot of people have feelings about him going down to Juryo. He just maybe is a bit of a stalwart, a bit of a guy who just pads the numbers or something. I don't feel a lot of sentiment from people about him.
I mean, he's a very reserved Rikishi. You don't see a lot of emotional flair from him, but when he's in form, he can dispose of opponents very effectively.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do get the feeling that maybe his best days are behind him.
I mean, for someone who's, you need some kind of characteristic to make you popular. Sometimes he's 181 centimetres. He's tall. I feel like he should be more popular.
He's got the robot arms.
He's got the robot arms. I like Kageaki.
Gyorji points the Gunbai forward. Tohakuryu in absolute no rush mode. He's chilling. Kageaki wants to get this bout going. Tohakuryu choosing a long run up here. Maybe trying to generate some momentum as he comes forward at the tachi. Hits Kageaki hard. Knows he has to put him away quickly because, as you see, Kageaki just simply steps around. When he's looking low and balanced like that, the Sapari hits are coming out. He can look unstoppable. A great way for Kageaki to start.
Yeah, look, he's been up at Maegashira 3 Kageaki. He does know how to sumo, and he wasn't prepared to take any of Tohakuryu's, as you call it, Tim, dog act merchant behaviour. He didn't show it today. Oh, little pull there. But, he did fairly straightforward sumo, and it was Kageaki who took the lead and moved him back there. So absolute dominance, I would say, here from Kageaki.
Yeah, great to see. Well, we're heading towards our final bout of Juryo. Why don't we start previewing it now? Because these two have quite a history. Azumaryu up against Hidenumi. They have fought 22 times in the past.
Unusual, isn't it?
It is in Juryo at the moment. People normally have handfuls of bouts against each other. This rivalry goes all the way back to November 2014.
Oh, wow.
Where Hidenumi drew first blood with a Yorikiri win. Fast forward 8 years, or 7 years, 9 months, 8 months. They are here, both at the top of Juryo. Hidenumi Juryo 1, Azumaryu Juryo 2. Azumaryu, he's 35 years old, which seems to be the sweet spot for Rikishi, I think. It's the...
Yeah.
If you're going to make it happen, it's when you're 35 for some of these.
A lot of guys around there.
Absolutely. Look, and apart from the weirdly bad showing in Makuuchi and Maegashira 15 for Azumaryu, his form in the last 12 months has been quite good. I don't know what went wrong. He just looked very uncomfortable.
I don't know. I mean, the right knee is strapped, but he's such a big, solid guy. I can't quite pinpoint what happened to him. He just seemed to be overrun too many times.
He really was.
Quite quickly. Just couldn't get it happening. But he's back in his element here in Juryo, and he's up against Hidenumi. Now, Hidenumi was someone who the Banzuke wasn't particularly kind to, is the way I'd say it, in that he probably deserved to go up at Juryo 1 West. He was West at 8 and 7, but there wasn't a spot for him, and he was designated Juryo 1 West again. And has to hash it out. It's like Groundhog Day.
Is there a bit of, let's say, resentment on the part of the JSA? Hidenumi coming back after getting involved in some shady gambling business. Nothing to do with sumo.
Nothing to do with sumo, and he wasn't charged.
Yeah.
There was not that much info. I think it actually happened. Like, I think it was shown to have happened. The gambling business, which the JSA don't look kindly upon, but there was no charges laid as to illegal gambling, so he got away with it. But he was out for that one basho. When was that? It was January. Wow, everything feels like it was so much longer ago.
Yeah, time has compressed or decompressed. Time is different.
Hey, Caleb. Lovely to have you here. Oh, your first time with us.
Oh, hey, Caleb.
From Portland. Oh, Portland's such a good place. Well, in my understanding. I actually haven't been there. You have, haven't you?
No. Oh. I've watched Portlandia.
Oh, we've watched Portlandia. That's true. How do you feel if you're from Portland about Portlandia?
I think you'd hate that.
I just love her. She's so cool.
Carrie Brownstein of band Sleater Kinney.
Great band. It's Azumaryu and Hidenumi. Back to the facts at hand. Azumaryu goes in low. Hidenumi doesn't go backwards and tries to get his hands in around Azumaryu. Pulls Azumaryu down low, but he doesn't go down, and they lock up. So Azumaryu, it looks like he has the right hand on Hidenomi's belt. Hidenumi, he has a grip around Azumaryu's body. I thought Hidenumi was going to get the push there, but it was in fact Azumaryu who rolled Hidenumi down.
Well, very clever improvisational sumo from Azumaryu today. Did look on the back foot I think Hinumi would be watching the replay going, I let that one get away from me. Let's
I thought he was going to do it there.
And Hinumi's very comfortable coming off these belt lockups, I find, but just beautiful belt throw from Azumariu there.
And that contributes to Hidenomi's sense of Groundhog Day because he lost in May as well on day one. So Juryo won West, has stayed Juryo won West, gets a loss on day one, which means that Hidenomi, he's up for a win tomorrow.
Okay.
If we go by his, I expect him to totally
Mirror.
mirror his, or not mirror, it's like the same. Is that mirroring?
Well, I guess
Like,
mirror's
wouldn't mirroring
different.
being
Flipped.
Anyway.
Yeah. Replicating.
Replicating, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Win tomorrow for Hidenomi. That's my other prediction that definitely needs to go into a fiction book. All right, well, that's Juryo. We can see the Makuuchi Doyo Iri happening now. Day one, all of our favourites hopping up onto the doyo. So good to see them all. Ichi Yamamoto, who his wish was to be Hachi Yamamoto and get 8 wins at least. So that was a nice wordplay. Ichi Yamamoto, known for being a bit of a...
He's a
prankster.
funny guy.
Funny guy.
Yeah.
Mitakumi wanted a 4th Yusho, which at Kataban is a big wish,
Well, I think you've got to aim for the sky.
I suppose.
Like, don't just aim to not be Kataban.
Well, that was short eyes.
Yeah, I know. Well, here's our problem.
That's a real difference in psychology there, isn't there?
It certainly is. Well, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon / this evening / this morning. We've loved hanging out with you, bringing you all the action from day one of Juryo for this Nagoya Basho. Enjoy the day's action.
Yeah, you won't be hearing from
No,
us.
you won't be
We'll
hearing
just
from us,
enjoy
but-
it together. Just message us on social media.
Yeah, you know that we're
If
gonna
you
be we're gonna be glued to every second of it.
We are, and we should say that Ryuden is about to come up as the Juryo visitor. So that's right. There is somebody who hasn't fought yet. It's Ryuden. We're keen to know how he's going to go, but we're not going to stick around for that. We're going to go and watch it with our big bottle of sake. We'll see you maybe next week. Why not?
Probably.
See you then. Thanks so much for coming. You guys are all legends. We love you lots. See ya.
Bye.
Yeah.